They almost look pretty when they're all stained and under a microscope, but the viruses and bacteria that cause a variety of childhood diseases can lead to great suffering and even death. We have vaccines to protect our children and ourselves from them, but in recent years more parents have been questioning their use. Some decide not to have their children immunized or want to follow their own schedules, dropping some vaccines and delaying others. At Quincy Pediatric, we talked to a parent and a pediatrician. What do you think of childhood vaccines?
At this point in time, I'd say you should go along with everything they recommend. That's the guidelines, and I'm a nurse, so I would follow the guidelines as much as possible.
And you have 2 children ages?
9 and 7.
And they've all had their...
Up to date to the day.
I'm getting shots?
No.
It seems like the past 4 years we've had more and more questions about vaccines and the fear of possible side effects of vaccines.
What are they afraid of primarily?
Causing autism.
Is there anything to that?
There does not seem to be anything to that, but it's hard to convince people of that. The fear for a while was the MMR vaccine, which is the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. That fear seems to have passed for most people, and then it became very popular to be afraid of thimerosal, which is the mercury preservative that had been used in vaccines and is really no longer in the vaccines that we give to kids. And lots of studies in lots of countries by lots of governments and non-government agencies have shown that there is no correlation between either the MMR and autism or thimerosal and autism.
And do people generally go along with the schedules, or do they want to vary it, the timing or the dosing?
Most go right with the schedule after great questions. There are some that decline vaccines. There are some that hold off for a year or until the child is a certain weight. And there are some now that seem to have found their own schedule that they think is popular and more effective.
And you go along with that?
Here we reluctantly do. The vaccines in Massachusetts will be changing. It hasn't been finalized yet. There's a major meeting coming up in the middle of this month, but right now they're looking at starting a new combination vaccine better in line with the recommendations and the current schedule, which has a better safety profile. The new vaccine, which is called Pentacel, is being started specifically in this office and several other major larger practices in Massachusetts because of the current national shortage of the Hib vaccine, which is the Haemophilus influenza B. So the Pentacel vaccine has 5 vaccines or immunizations in one shot, and one of those components is the Hib. So by switching children to this vaccine, it'll hopefully free up more of the Hib for older kids that need it for the booster shot, which are currently missing that.
This is Sue Scheibel, staff reporter for the Patriot Ledger. For more coverage, go to patriotledger.com.